want to see the application, we need to talk about exploring issues on privacy data, concerning handling in data handling, as well as legal and ethical frameworks for privacy. I think in week 4, that's when we shall handle legal and ethical frameworks for privacy, because this part is very interesting. We have to design some ethical frameworks, which would be very interesting. So let me go back to my small slide. Today I have only 3 slides. Yeah, I have some slide also, but I have these 3 slides which we are going to start with. Exploring issues in collection privacy data. So that is our discussion today, and most of my students are very good. Last time I met the day class, they were even ahead of me. I would ask them some small thing and they were able to explain to me very well, and we were moving very fast. You know, we covered what you people covered without slide, because there was problem of my computer having updates. Old computer Windows one new app. So my laptop was updating, and I had to go through the whole part without looking through any slide. But the day class managed to discuss as well as you during the time of that weekend. So today we are exploring issues in collection privacy data. And Adrian, what is privacy data?
Privacy is basically to make sure that the only person that should be having access to the data, that's the only person that has it. So basically protecting data from unauthorized access.
So if you connect the topic, what do you think is the topic going to talk about? Basically, exploring issues in collection privacy data.
I think we're basically going to be looking at some challenges or issues that arise, how to avoid unauthorized access to data. So by learning the mistakes or the issues that arise from unauthorized access, we'll be exploring those options to make sure we do not make such mistakes.
Andrew, what is your take?
I think we're going to be looking at issues in regards to when data is being collected, the sharing, is it being accessed by everyone, or it is kept private to the relevant people?
So basically, we might be looking at things like consent, the legality in the actual collection of data, whether that data that has been collected is legal or not.
Oh, yes.
Things like
that. You people, you have made my day. I'm very happy with you. So the issues we have these issues: lack of consent. Somebody talked about it, and the key risk is that you have to, if there is lack of consent, then loss of users' trust. So the users will not maybe trust your data, or you guys are collecting, you will not be trusted. The second one is overall collection, which increase exposure. The third one, security failures, which has key risks of data breaches. The third party sharing, loss of control. another issue. Misuse of data, ethical violation, weak regulation, poor enforcement. Now, these are the issues. I need each of you to brainstorm on how many are we there. Edwin, can you count our numbers? I know Edwin is there, Andrew is there, and who? Hello?
We are 6.
You are 6. Oh, then that is very good. So, if
Including you.
you exclude me now,
So we are
Andrew,
5.
you are 5. So, the person who mentioned my name should start with. You give, maybe you explain lack of consent. You also explain one of the other 5 which you think you're going to explain 2, but of your choice. But you start with lack of consent. Then you give an example which you think can raise issues of lack of consent. So, real example, so that people can understand that keyword very well. And then you pick another one. I don't know whether you will pick security or third party sharing. Then each of you, the other 5, the other 4 remaining, can now pick one. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Yes.
Okay. So lack of consent. Basically, if I go out to collect data, if you're collecting any data, and let's assume you access a certain company, you want to use their data for one reason or the other, and they do not give you consent to use that data. So in the event that you end up basing on the data you collected from that source, it will lack credibility, because if you are asked if that data is authentic without the authorization from the actual owner, you can't explicitly state that it's authentic. By so doing, if I'm the one basing on that data or you were presenting it to me, I will not trust your findings, because you do not really, you can't confirm whether the data you were given, you're using or you used is authentic or not, because you did not get explicit consent from the actual owner of data. For example, if you took a picture of Paul, he did not consent to that, you use it for advertisement, and then with the situation whereby we are having the AIs and all those generated pictures, and you are asked whether that picture is authentic or not, actually without Paul's consent, you can't confirm that that picture is authentic, because you might be thought of as someone that just generated it, even when you actually took a picture yourself. That's the simplest term I could explain lack of consent. Over collection, it's hard, but I'll try to explain it in the basic way I understand it. I think if you're given, let's assume you've been asked to get people that are in this class, and all you've required of, or the only information that is going to be used from the people that are attending the class, is just their name, student ID, and maybe the course they are doing. Now, here comes the one collecting data. You go ahead to get their social security number. I would not you. I'll use again. You go ahead and use their NIN numbers. You put them on the list. You put their dates of birth. You put more information that is actually not even to be used, which made, for example, putting out someone's NIN number, that's like giving out completely their all details, anything that is attached to their name. So by collecting such data, you're exposing more information that actually shouldn't even be there in the first place. I yield the floor back to you. Thank you.
I'm noting. I am noting. That is from who?
From Edrin.
That is from Edwin. Edwin, thank you very much for that wonderful explanation. I'm not seeing you people raising your hands, but
Paul should follow.
because I'm sharing the entire screen. So
Paul, go
Paul is
ahead.
going to follow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul. Good morning. Yeah.
I think someone else should also take over. Ivan.
Okay, good morning.
Good
Hello, good
morning.
morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to talk about security failures. In that point, we are looking at how you protect your data. So if you have security failures, for example, if you have weak passwords in for example, you're keeping your data in a certain database, and then you have very weak passwords or no passwords, your data can be stolen by someone and then can be reused for other unintended instances. For example, uh, one time I was working on a certain document. It was in Google Sheets. Then I don't know how it happened, but the document was hacked, and then all the data that we had was stolen, and that was because of we didn't have any sharing. Uh, any passwords on that document, any rights. We had not put the rights for anyone to access the document. So we should mind about the security, the password, the security features that we have in our databases to prevent that data breaches. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope no one has talked about
Just a minute. Andrew, just a minute. There's something this gentleman raised about Google Sheet. So, I want somebody to elaborate. What is wrong with Google Sheet? And he was saying there was security failure. Was it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to mean that if you in that Google Sheet, we didn't have any set privacy rights. For example, in sharing data, or for example, if you have those sharing rights in those documents.
Mm,
For example, you're sharing this document for someone to edit, to read, you know,
mm,
but you had not set any rights on that document, and then someone hacked it, and then all the data was stolen, was taken away from that document without our
mm.
consent. Yeah, or not. We just saw someone on the document, and then all the data was lost.
Now, I wanted to ask, was that email company emails or it was just any email?
Any email, we didn't put any rights to that document.
Mm,
Yeah, so I think that was out of the security features that we failed to set on that document.
to set on the Google. So,
Yeah.
what was the problem? Is it the problem with Google?
No, it was the problem of the owners, the problem of us who were using the document.
You were not technical enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, next person, was it Andrew that?
Yes, Andrew.
Yes.
Yes, Andrew.
I want to talk about misuse of data, uh,
Yes.
ethical violations. The risk is ethical violation. So here, for example, when you give consent to like share pictures with a certain organization or at school, and then you find like the data you gave them, your pictures are used somewhere on another advertising company that you did not even know about, or let's say you share information in a hospital about your health, and then before you know it, the data you gave them is used, and they're exposing your they're exposing you somewhere else that you'd never shared that data. So that's what I think. That your data is being misused and is used to do things that they are not intended for. That's all I can say.
Yes, yes, Andrew. That was really very nice. And we are happy. Who has not explained anything there? Can I have somebody explaining about weak regulation?
We have Tinker, we have Samuel.
Yes,
We have
Samuel.
Martin.
The number is big actually.
It has
The number is
increased.
6. The number has increased. Yes, this is the discussion class, and I need people to participate. So, you guys, who can explain weak regulation? Are these people robot?
They're actually human beings because I know Tinker Fahad.
Hello.
You know.
But
Good
Tinka seems to
morning.
be talking. I don't know if
Yes.
he's.
Good morning,
Yeah,
Tinka.
and I think I admitted myself. Well, weak regulations. Okay, I've just joined. I hope we're trying to explain what this means. So, weak regulation of law
You are
enforcement.
going to explain what it means, and then you give an example.
Okay.
Yes.
So, a lack of strong legal. Weak regulation is a lack of like strong legal framework or rules or oversight, which can result in which can result to maybe uh, it can easily result to losing of data, or it can, if it's in business, can result into profit losses.
as time
Lawsuits.
goes. Yeah, exactly. That's the right word, lawsuits. I think that's what I can say about regulations. That's how I understand it.
Good morning, team.
Morning.
You can hear me?
Yes.
About weak regulations, it may be the rules and procedures which an organization may have, but when you read through them, they are unenforceable. You find something has been written in a platform, and it has no penalties for it if you did it. Maybe you don't put in strong measures to counter a problem. For instance, a fraud which occurs, and there's nothing, no way of enforcing penalties. You fear to hire lawyers, and you will find that even in the systems, there are times when we are writing contracts, and you do things out of scope, and normally that's where technicians get you off guard. They give you a system, but the contract is unenforceable because it is lacking clauses that can bring in issues like out of scope items. That's what I see under weak regulations. So now when you have a contract which is weaker than unenforceable, then it becomes a problem. If you have your policies, procedures also which are weak, when you read through, there's nothing, no substance in them that you can hold someone accountable. That's why you get it. And it becomes actually difficult to enforce. Maybe some of these things are done in a way that, for instance, if I'm the director or I'm a beneficiary of the company, I'll make it weak so that when I'm doing them, they cannot. It doesn't backfire towards me because I know it has caused the fraud, it has caused the financial loss, and there's nothing to do about it. People will just look at you and they just tell you resign, resign, and that is it.
Resign. Now, what about the situation where you are given the job and there was no appointment and you happen to to fail to enforce that weak regulation? You explore it and you.
Actually, that's why I'm saying experts, people who are really knowledgeable, they can exploit the company. If I told you, find the directors don't know, even they don't have the technical expertise to counter or even to audit, to do a quality assessment of whatever maybe the CEO is implementing. You will have such issues. You'll find the CEO is more knowledgeable than everyone, so you'll do things to exploit unless the person is ethical enough to say, okay, let me work for the good of the company. But most people are normally not like that. So before even you employ them, before you give them contracts, you should be more knowledgeable about what you want as a person, or as the owner of the company, or as a shareholder before you engage them. And it's a problem unless maybe you hire consultants first of all to do what, to assess whether these people can be able to deliver. That's where the challenges come in with the data privacy.
Yeah, somebody explained something of lack of consent, loss of users' trust, and was saying if data is collected without consent here and there, and I presented some work to you, and you will not believe. How will you verify that there was a lack of consent? Because the other time I attended, somebody was defending his PhD in Makerere University, and he got some data from telecommunication company, and one of the professor asked him about the data from which company, and he was talking of, according to his consent, he was not supposed to release the name of the telecommunication company. And indeed, he did not release the name telecommunication company, but they believe in him that his data was authentic. So, can somebody talk about that kind of situation where we said, if how do you prove that there was consent or there was a lack of consent?
I think reversely, if you can't prove that there was consent, then there was no no consent, ideally. So, if the question maybe should be turned around, how do we get consent for data collection, and in what formats, and how is it actually used? To me, I would probably look at you might get written consent. I think they should, even verbal consent might be okay, but it can go as far as a certain extent, because legally that becomes also harder to prove if you use things like verbal consent. So if I have written notice, and that can be proof that there was consent to the data collection. I think we've lost him.
Yeah. But then, like, when it comes to consent issues, I think it solely relies mostly on the company's side to prove.
It's like giving consent. Yeah, you see that you've given them consent here.
Yeah, that is true. Because the company will have to demonstrate how it actually obtained your consent.
Yeah, the cookie. If you accept it, you're good to. That's proof that you gave them a green light.
And with cookies,
Normally,
it's
cookies
almost
have,
a
yeah.
must.
So normally, you have to open those cookies and see what you can give them. Others are even, they go as far as telling you what they are going to use the data for, the fine print. And if you don't actually uncheck such options, then you're in for it. You've already given them access.
And
Personally, I think when it comes to like things like software online, by the time you're already using a software, you have already given your consent. Usually, because before
Before using, they make you accept the terms and conditions.
that final agreement, before you actually start using, You have to agree. If you don't agree, you're not going to use the solution. Also,
And that's
like,
where
let's
please
say
go
like
ahead.
telecom companies, you are talking of companies recording your voice. Uh, I don't know if it's when you call customer service, there's always that computer voice that tells you this session might be recorded for something.
Quality and training purposes.
Yes. So usually by the time you go ahead, you have given your consent. So I think companies somehow, in their clever ways, get
I,
consent from users without them knowing
I
how
think
whether they
I
have
think
gotten.
I think the consent part, it actually goes back to the legal backing or the weak regulations in the real sense. In Uganda, if I wanted to see all the data that MTN has on me, it's actually going to be extremely hard because legally, or maybe the regulators have not put in place such parameters for them to give me access to my data. Countries like US, Verizon, who is my equivalent of MTN, I actually have access to all the data they have on me. And should I wish to delete that data at any given time, I terminate my contract with them, I will delete that data myself. They'll give you a certain period of time. You also give them time to try and remove your data from anywhere they had used it, if you had given them consent for it. So in Uganda, the regulations are quite very weak for you to have access to your own data. In Uganda, if I really wanted to have the data MTN has on me, that's a legal battle and they will toss you here and there. Countries with strong regulations, they will actually give you access to your data and you can delete it. And the
Sorry,
moment you do,
gentlemen, I somebody called my phone and I went off. I did not pick what Edwin was explaining to the class. Edwin, pardon, just sorry for that. There was a
um, uh,
question which I put on, and it seems you
y-
were the one answering it.
yes. So
Just briefly.
I think there are different ways to seek consent. So the burden of proof that you did get consent lies on whoever that collected the data. So if I got written consent, I can decide to write to Paul to use his picture. If Paul writes, accepts my request, then I've gotten consent, a written consent. That is basically easy to prove. But there are consents that are a little bit harder to prove. For example, if I just phoned Paul, we were just one-on-one, I told you, hey, I'll be using your picture, are you okay with it? And I say yes. Should Paul backfire or go against that, or should anyone ask me whether I got Paul's consent to use the data, and I cannot, and Paul declines to comment on it, that can be equally taken as I didn't get consent from him. But if Paul is available to back that up, even though it's with conditions, then I have proved that I did get consent from him. So the burden of proof of consent lies on whoever collected the data.
So do you need to assure the panel, the university panel, that
Yes,
you consent from
yes. So,
this institution? So the PhD
yes.
student was wrong.
No, the PhD student is actually right because the consent that he was given had conditions that you will not state the school, but we do give you consent. So by him disclosing, the source is like news journalists. The journalists have sources for their information and they have the legal obligation not to actually to disclose their sources. But that doesn't mean that they can't prove that they got a right consent to collect that data. So the PhD student was right because the consent had conditions attached to it. You do not disclose the identity, and that's what he did. Even by mere stating that I have the condition not to disclose the school or the source, it's more or less proof that he did actually get consent because he could defend it. But the moment you can't defend your source, then you equally didn't even get consent for it. That's how far I can go in terms of explaining this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So I think we have really adjusted this area very nicely. Um, we have also adjusted the area of consent in data handling. We have actually exhausted most of these things. Now, as I can see here in the group, we are hey, the
We are
number
now
is big.
9. We are 9 now.
You are now 9.
Yes.
Hey, that's good. Is Bob there? Bob, are you around?
No,
So
he's
Bob,
not.
Bob could also be. So the number is big. So
I have a
I
question.
yes,
I have a question. There are
yes,
consent
please.
forms that are stringent to using the data. For example, if I'm installing a certain application, not even application, if I'm going to get a SIM card from MTN, their consent form is rigid. I have no option to even, it's either take it or leave it. You either accept to use their service or accept to use their service and you accept the terms of their agreement, or you back out, you're not going to use the service. Is that ethical? And how is that treated in terms of data collection?
Think
E-
you want to answer?
yes, yeah, I wanted to answer that. Yes, it is ethical because of the law of the land again states that a person or a company must not collect your data without your prior consent, which means they can't take your info first and ask for permission later. That's the law of the land here in Uganda. So it's called the Data Protection and Privacy Act. It ensures that your personal information, like those name and photos, is handled with your permission for a specific reason, and because for security reasons those things were set as a must that you really have to give. So MTN or Airtel has no, they just have to get it by force. So if you can't, not by force, but if you really can't accept, then they'll let you go without the SIM card because the regulatory body needs them to provide that for security reasons. I think that came in when shortly after the killings and it was it Entebbe of women somewhere around Entebbe, Kajansi, I don't know,
Mm.
Abaita areas, yes. So
Mm.
shortly after that, the parliament had to pass that. So I think it also depends on the law of the land.
Thank you, Tinka.
I
Now my other question becomes, why is it not the same law of the land for me to have access to my own data? If I did want, I prove that it's me and I need every data that MTN has on me. Trust me, it's a tug of war to collect such data. Yet they do have my voice and all that stuff, all my texts, everything. But for me to get it, they make it extremely hard for me to access my own data.
It's
The very person that gave them
it,
consent.
it's also because the law has you can get it, but then you'll have to go through a series of security protocols because the information they get, it's not that they store each and every information. Okay, they store each and every information, but anytime the government needs something, they were also they also had to make them agree that they will provide. So I want to believe the data becomes too much. We're speaking of millions of people, and I don't think the infrastructure is like that strong or very like the ones of the US. These are, we're speaking of 300 something million population here. I think we're speaking of 16, 15 who who are really using internet or using phones. So I think it comes back to the fact that we're also still in a third world country somehow. And but then if you're really pushing, you can get all the information, because if the government wants anything about Chivendo, they can get your information even in 2016 election times. Yeah.
Sure, I think in information about yourself, your own data. If you follow legal procedures well, you will be able to get information. But you need to prove why you want to get, because what you have been doing, you know all of it. During it, mm, mm,
Mr. Kumakech,
yes.
if I will still use, if I came to you, you gave me consent to use your picture, and then later on you come to me, you like that picture, you also want, you gave me consent to take your picture, and I told you what I'm going to use it for. But if you come to me and ask for the same picture, and you want me, I tell you to go to police, go and talk to this one before you come to me to take your own picture. I don't see that as being fair, because the information I'm requesting for was done
Mm.
by me. I gave you the consent. Why should I still go to the legal battle, which I do not even have control over, to take
Adrian,
my own data?
Adrian,
Yeah.
I think it depends on the type of of consent you had between that person that gave you the data. So when you go through those consents on those service providers, they put in a clauses which is say that you can only get this data if we are if you pass through those protocols, the security and all that. I think they have those clauses.
And also, if Mr. Chivendo gave me, he gave me consent to use his photo, and then I accepted, it doesn't mean that he has the right tomorrow to come and ask for it, unless we had that in the agreement, because I might have used it and deleted it. But if he comes and then tells me, if when we are having this agreement, he's like, okay, but then you keep it because at a certain time I will need it, then I'll have to provide it. But if he just gave me the photo to use somewhere and I used it, and he gave me the consent, but we had nothing more than that. I think the law is tricky. It all comes back to the law. That's where they say the weak regulation. It comes back to that. At the end of the day, the content of the consent. Thanks.
Oh yes. So I think we have exhausted number of issues. There are a lot of things which are happening with Airtel. Mm, People don't know. I don't know whether it's also MTN. Just of recent, last week For me personally, I received something from Airtel talking about me paying back something called AM loans, which I've got, and they were asking for some 3,000 something. But I remembered I've never even asked for any loan from anywhere, from any telecommunication company. So you people, have you received those kind of things? What is it? What is that AM loan?
You see, that shows that they actually don't know. Maybe they are scammers or
With
something like that.
Airtel has really been, Airtel has a lot of problems, especially problems coming from people like students who are doing these coding courses. They have really hacked into a lot of Airtel's things. Airtel is really not,
It's weak.
it's
In
really,
Me,
control.
it's
I
really not in
formally
control. And I think the problem came is they've been merging several times, and I think it was Worried, I don't know, Worried,
worried.
what. Then
Yeah, they've been moving
there's
quite
another
quite
that
a
came
lot.
in the middle there, and then
It
Celltel
started
was
with
there.
Celltel.
Celltel,
Celltel
yeah,
was
in
the
fact,
one.
Celltel Worried. So these are people who leave these jobs with a lot of work, with a lot of information. These were workers
Yes.
there,
Mm.
and so Airtel is really fragile.
So the problem is actually not Airtel. It's the regulator, who is the government in the ideal sense.
The problem is there were students who were, or the workers who were there, who came out with a lot of code, especially the tech guys. The people
They
who
have
are playing with
access.
people's money, yes, so they have access in one or the other. They're really trying, I know, but Airtel has a lot of problems when it comes to that.
I personally, I
Because
formally work.
surprising, Celltel still exists, but in another country. Worried even still exists in another country. Here they merged. So I think you
Mm.
can see the level of uh, of
Issues,
breaching
yeah,
that can easily happen. Yeah.
sure.
Zain, in fact, I don't know if you remember
Zain, yeah,
Zain.
yeah,
Zain
Zain
still
There
exists.
exists.
was still Zain, by the way.
Yes.
Zain
So
still
Zain,
exists.
it still
Yeah, it
exists
exists.
in, yeah, it still
Yeah.
I think
exists.
it's there in
It's also in
India. I think
Sudan,
it's in
even Egypt,
Congo.
I think. So they still exist. So somehow
Exists.
that's a lot of same data somehow. And then workers who left who are working for Zain in Uganda, you expect them to have gone with a lot of info. And they have to live a life. Even a deal, I'll also take it.
Now, I do
Now,
have a
now
question.
for me, I was worried because this AM loan, which I did not even take, they are putting as loan. It is now 3,000 something, and I'm thinking by next year you might have increased. I did not take even the loan.
Mr. Kumakech, just pay the people and so that you're safe.
No, me, I gave headache to Search. I've also had the same scenario, and of course, they cleared it up. But the fight I have right now is actually with MTN and actually Airtel, because those two telecom companies sent me uh, an advert for me to go and vote in seven. I received certain group called M7, something like that, sent me an advert. Now I asked them, I want to know who gave you access, who gave them my number, because the only database they have is from those telecom companies. I formally wrote to those two companies. They replied that they'll get back to me and all that kind of stuff. And to make matters worse, they sent the advert to vote from 7 when it was even past the campaigning time. I was in Nairobi by
Mm.
that time because I'd ran away because of their own internet, even. I had to work. So those things, the weak regulations are affecting all of us. Because at no point should I be receiving such an advert yet I didn't consent to it. And
Now,
you also
this thing is very common. Even when you look at Gmail, for me, what happened is that I had to go for Gmail paid version because sometimes there was a lot of, we call it spam almost. You know, those companies like that campaign, they might have paid the company to advertise. Yeah. So what they do, they send to anyone who has number in that company, anyone who has MTN number has to receive. Even me, I receive. But that one is advertisement, just normal advertisement, like
Aye.
Bobby Wine is presenting a show somewhere. Please come and attend
So now I need to
during the
read
time when he was a musician. So it
the
is
consent.
just no. They don't need to ask for your consent. Either you go or you don't go. Because
That is where the
like
third
our
party
email,
sharing comes in.
I have a
that's
question.
that possibly, because
Third
that is
party,
just advertisement.
yeah,
They
third party
advertise to
comes in there.
whatever person has an email with them, or wherever you have a number, telephone number with them. They advertise to all everybody. So they are paid to do the work, and they are getting good money out of it. So why don't they advertise to all? So you cannot complain that they should have asked your consent to advertise to you. So it's like your radio. You have somebody talking in the radio station, and you have tuned that. You have to listen to the voice of that person. So I think that is where the advertisement law will come on, then catches us. So I don't see any problem. Now, quickly, this discussion will take us. There's some activities which I wanted you people to do. I don't know whether you will be able to do now. I thought you will do for 15 minutes between 8:45 to 9. But since you are very, very vibrant, let me give you this activity and you look through it. Um, I think it is very clear here. You are supposed to analyze the privacy policy of most of these famous online organizations: Google, Cisco, IBM, Amazon Web Service. I don't know whether you have heard of this company. Is there anyone who have not heard of these companies?
I think we've all heard of them.
Yes, you have all heard of them. But this one needs some small research, small understanding, privacy policy of most of these firms. The Google, um, we have Cisco system, IBM, Amazon Web Service. For me, I'm a member of Cisco. I'm a member of IBM. I'm not a member of Amazon Web Service. Of course, I found out the same service which Amazon Web Service provides is there in IBM. So I wanted you people to analyze the privacy policy of this organization in groups. I don't know how you are going to do it, because I wanted also feedback. Edwin, how should we do it? We give two people one item.
I think, how many are we?
You
This is
are
12.
9.
That means we are 9.
So I can put 3 people in Amazon Web Service, then two in each of those one: Google, Cisco, IBM.
So what are the groups?
So the group leaders. Adrian, let's say you will go with which one? Amazon Web Service.
Okay, I'll take Amazon. Give
And
me 3 people.
and Paul, you go with which one? Paul, you go with Google. Think I give you IBM, and then Andrew Senior, you go with Cisco. Now, other people should join these other people. I don't know. Or you pick your partner. Adrian, you pick one person whose name has not been mentioned to join you. Paul, you also pick another.
Ivan, were you mentioned?
No, I wasn't.
So you join me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Martin, I'll go with you. Is Martin on the call? If
Mm-hmm.
Martin is not on the call, I'll go with Jaria.
Oh, you guys
Martin
on
not
the
there.
call actually. Is there?
Please, can you talk?
I'm there.
Yes. So Martin is there.
Yes.
Jalia is also there.
Okay,
The
Jaria.
guy of Amazon
I'm,
Web Service must have 3 people.
I'm going with Jaria.
So there's one more
Okay.
person. Hey, where is the
If
Ronald?
your name is not mentioned, please join somewhere because you will be left out.
Tracy
Martin,
Ronald.
you're going with who?
I think I'll go with Tinker.
With Thinker. Okay.
Okay.
So
Tracy
And
is
I
right.
give you, let me give you 15 minutes. Is that 15 minutes enough? Andrew?
Yeah, that should be enough to summarize a couple of things. So how
Yeah.
do we are we breaking off the call?
Oh, now you need to open uh, you break out the call and you open your own call where you're going to discuss, because if you discuss from here there would be a lot of noise. You
Yes.
create a link and share to your colleague. You can share it here, maybe in the chat, and
okay,
then
so
when
just
you
a
are
simple
discussing, you
question.
may still be in this link, but you just mute yourself, so that when you are discussing the other side, we don't hear.
Just a question. Are we assigned to specific companies? I'd lost my.
Somebody said he's going with Thinker. Which one did I give you,
That
Martin?
was Mr. Martin.
IBM.
IBM.
Okay.
Thinker, you're going with IBM.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Is Kakare joining us? Tracy.
So you create the link and you be in your link there.
Ivan, I've shared the link to you.
So if you are part of Edwin, you
Okay.
just join that link straight and
I've
you
shared
discuss.
the
From
in
here,
this
you
call.
mute yourself. You mute yourself from here, then you can return back maybe after 15 minutes.